Leading social enterprise show. The Mic with Mike
Now, when will this
King's
air?
delivering food to folks.
Friday.
To find out more about
You
the
can
dynamic
get a
host
copy.
of
Let me
On the
see.
Mic with Mike, please visit his website at mikeandbiz.com.
Mike is on the Mic with Mike, Richmond's premier business radio platform.
Oh yeah, I'm a whole fan.
That's it. And that's it.
Promoting how business can make the community better. No one does it better than Mike King Biz on the Mic with Mike. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King here. This is part of the Mike King Biz Media Network, ESPN Richmond 106.1 International Business Growth Radio, as well as coming up Breeze Radio, VA Breeze. All right, so you can follow me on the social platforms, which is On the Mic with Mike RVA, Mike King Biz as well. All right, you know what time it is? It is People's Advantage Federal Credit Union. It is their time to shine. I got my man Mike Patterson in the house. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mike, for having me today.
All righty, so now this is a business show, so tell folks who you are and what you do.
My name is Mike Patterson. I'm a dedicated member advocate at People's Advantage Federal Credit Union. My role there is I empower our members to create financial well-being for themselves. At People's Advantage, we believe in understanding our members on a personal level, Mike, and with that, understanding their unique needs and concerns. So I usually sit down with our members to help them create budgets. I help them get an understanding of their credit score and start achieving their financial dreams. I just want everyone to know that I'm a trusted ally for them and providing support, guidance, and solutions, no matter how big or small the issue may be.
One of the things about People's Advantage, you guys are on the ground, and the name says it all, the People's Credit Union. Talk a little bit about your journey. So you've been the finance guy. Were you always good with money?
I wasn't always.
You wasn't good.
Okay. No, sir.
What was that awakening moment when you're like, okay, I got to get better with the money?
That awakening moment, I was probably, I think I was about 25, 26 years old. And how I'll start from the beginning too a little bit. I ruined my credit. I'm gonna say ruined too. I was about 18, 19 years old. I was in college. My mom co-signed for a credit card.
Oh, Lord.
I maxed it out, didn't pay the
Okay, wait a second, Mike. So did mom give you the speech about the credit card?
She did give me
Mom gave you the speech.
She gave me the speech.
Okay.
And so
were you listening?
I listened at first.
You listened. And then the card showed up.
The card showed up.
Okay.
And friends were going out to
and
party.
You're like, I'm going to go. It's a one time.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, so were you bowling out of control at first for a little bit?
No, I wasn't.
You were good. You heard
good at first.
You heard the voice. Okay.
I heard the voice.
And
then temptation took over.
Yes.
And so now I'm going out on the weekends. I'm partying with my friend. I'm using the card. I'm going to the mall because I want to be fresh to go.
You got to go. You got to be right when you go.
And next thing you know, the card statement comes and it's like $1,000 racked up. And my mom calls me and she's like, Michael,
I
got a copy of the statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you, here, I got some. When you get that call and it starts off with Michael, you kind of knew what time it was.
I knew exactly what time it was. And when
it starts off with Michael.
I knew what time it was. I knew I had to go into her sweet, loving son and apologize.
Yes. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court.
That's it.
Did it work?
It worked.
It worked.
But what I did, Mike, was I messed up. I told my mom I wouldn't do it again. I turned around and did it again. So it became a vicious cycle. Her calling me every other couple months about the statement. Then fast forward, like I said, I maxed the cards, didn't pay them. Credit card went into collections, right? But the caveat to that was I now got cocky. I went out and got a credit card on my own. I went behind my mother. I went and got a credit card on my own because, you know, they're sending offers all the time when you're in college. Mm-hmm. So I went, got 2 cards, opened them up, maxed those out. Those go into collections. So my cousin was a salesman for a Dodge dealership back in my hometown. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Shout out to the D.
And so I walk into his office. I said, cuz, I want to buy a car. I want to finance my first car. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, he set the expectation. Hey, we're gonna run your credit. We're gonna see what you can.
Did you
get.
When he said we're gonna run your credit? Did red flags go up at that moment?
They didn't.
They didn't.
I did not.
You didn't understand what that meant.
I did not understand.
You were not to the point where when people say we're gonna run your credit, it depends on two camps. If you're good, there's no question, no problem. Go ahead, run it. You say confident. If you're not, there's that moment when, okay. So he runs the credit. Yeah. What happened?
My cousin runs the credit. I'm sitting in his office. He comes back maybe 5-10 minutes later.
With the look on his face?
And he's like, Michael, get out of my office. I said, cuz, what's going on, man? He said, I can't sell you anything. Your credit is shot.
There you go. All right, on the mic, Mike is here. We'll be back in just a moment. This is on the mic with Mike.
We're listening to On the Mic with Mike every day. That's what I do. Hello from Washington, President JB here. Whenever Jill and I leave in our car, we tune in to our guy, Mike King Biz, on ESPN.
Nice.
All right, it is here. So we got Mike Patterson here talking about credit. And it's appropriate that we just played with Joe Biden, with the whole idea of, helping people with student loans. And you're telling us a story. So your cousin runs the credit, and you realize at that moment,
my credit was indefinitely shot. And it was at that moment I couldn't finance a vehicle. I had to actually pay cash for a car, right? So I'm going, mind you, I'm kind of aging myself a little bit here. Used to get the newspaper on Sundays, right?
Yes.
And in the back of the newspaper, they had a classified ads.
People buying, yes.
And people used to put their personal ads. They were selling something in the back of the newspaper.
Yes, people, that is, yes. There were things in newspapers, and people did buy ads and put it in there. I'm selling my Dodge Dart.
Exactly. And I found a nice car. It was a 1989 Toyota Tercel. And the lady only wanted about $800-900 for it. It was a 5-speed manual. Ended up paying cash for it. I ended up driving that car for a couple of years. But during that time, that's when I really started to focus on improving my credit. I really started to get a better understanding of what credit was really about and how to effectively use my credit. So I had to literally, it was already torn down, but I had to build it back up.
And that's what you talk to people about every day over at People's Advantage.
Absolutely.
And now we're here today talking about about car loans, the impact of it. So if your credit was right back then, you could have used your credit and bought the car that you wanted.
Absolutely.
Because you were challenged credit card wise. Then all of a sudden what you had to do was use cash, and you didn't get the car that you wanted. So talk a little about your role at the credit union and what you guys have going on there.
All right. So great question, Mike. Right now we have a lot of unique things happening at People's Advantage. But for today, again, we're going to focus on a topic that affects so many people out there, and that's reliable and affordable transportation and auto lending. Getting an auto loan is a big decision for a lot of our members and their families. It's not just about financing the car that they want. It's about finding a solution that fits their budget and lifestyle. What I mean by that, like with my story, at that time, I couldn't get the car that I wanted, right? And one thing I talk to all of our members about is when they're selecting a vehicle, it's all about the need, not so much the want, but the need. And so we break that down into, is this car going to be used for personal business, or is it going to be a mix of both of them, right? How many miles we anticipate putting on that vehicle over, a year? What monthly payment are they comfortable with, right? Not only that, thinking about some of the other factors of owning a vehicle. You have gas, you have insurance, you have monthly maintenance, right? We all have to, here in Virginia, we all have to get an inspection. We all have to have our tires rotated. We all have to have our brakes changed. We all need oil changes as well, right? And tires rotated. So with that, Mike, you're right. Reliability is key. So if someone is looking to purchase a vehicle that they want to be confident that the lender that they're working with is trustworthy and transparent. So that's why the types of programs that People's Advantage has, and why you guys should know that. So at People's Advantage, we're all about building trust because it's vital in our industry. Not only that, but our borrowers need to be aware of the terms and conditions of their loan and the purchase.
A lot of times people at that moment, when they say you can get the car, the terms, the conditions, all that goes out the window. How quick can I sign a paper and be rolling out the door because I got what I wanted? A lot of times people also don't realize the monthly amount that is needed, like can you comfortably afford that amount in addition to what your expenses now? And then also for the unforeseen things that happen with the car.
Sure.
And that's one of the things that you guys, People's Advantage is in the business of trust as well. You're trustworthy as a lender, as a financial institution. You guys take care of your customers. You're out in the community. Talk about why that's so important. And then when you see people and you realize how you help them, what it means.
Wonderful. That's a really, really good question. Like I was just saying earlier, that with our members, transparency is vital. Not just with them, but also within our industry. As we know, banks and the financial industry has gotten a bad rap over the last couple of years. So that's why we'd like to be transparent with our members about the rates, the fees, the repayment schedules. All that is crucial. We walk all of our members through the entire loan process, educating them on how to pay their loan, helping them get affordable insurance, and even preparing them for the maintenance that's required on the type of vehicle that they have. We take a holistic approach in lending and want everyone to have a reliable and affordable transportation to get back and forth to work, take their kids to school, and overall have the freedom to do those things on their terms.
Because when people are in there, they're excited. And all of a sudden they realize they can get the car, and you ask them, a lot of times they really want the payment to be as low as possible. They don't realize to get that low payment that they're talking about a 99-month loan. And to really realize, and you guys are explaining to them what that means over the course of time. You want reliable transportation, but you guys are here to help. And that's the part, that the education part, to say, maybe you don't need to take a 99-month loan.
100%.
Exactly, because that's way out there. You're talking years from now still being in this car. One of the things that we always talk about, and so you guys have some, I don't know if it's a special, but it's something you guys have going on right now for qualified members. No, we have to be clear with that. Yeah, it's not for, okay.
You and I talked about that earlier.
Yes, it's underlined, yes, qualified.
Yeah, so right now, Mike, I'm glad you brought that up. We are running a limited time promotion for cash back for qualifying members. We are giving $250 in cash back for the members with a new purchase of a new or used vehicle, or it'll be $100 if we're refinancing from another financial institution. Now, with that, restrictions do apply.
Restrictions apply. We ain't just giving that there, and you got to come to the credit union to figure out and hear what those restrictions are.
That is correct.
But it's a great offer because for qualifying members, we're giving you some cash back. Qualified members, ladies and gentlemen, not just, willy-nilly, any and everybody that's out there.
And here's another thing. With those restrictions that do apply, your listeners and our members can go right to our website. They can visit peoplesadvfcu.org, People's Advantage Federal Credit Union.org, to read those details.
Yes. Now, I don't want to, you say you dated yourself.
Yes.
Now, I'm dating myself. But I remember when we paid less for cars than people pay for cell phones. I bought a car in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Shout out to Fort Bragg and Bragg Boulevard for $500.
Okay.
I drove that car for a year, and it went from Fayetteville, North Carolina to New York City to drop my wife off, to drive to San Antonio, Texas, stay in San Antonio, Texas for 6 months, drove back to New York to get my wife, and went back to Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Wow.
I ran into problems about 30 miles from Fayetteville, and my luck ran out. The wheels came off, basically. But I had gotten my $500 worth. we weren't dealing in trust back in those days. So you kind of went to a dealership. I had money. They had a car. They didn't say anything more than that. But with People's Advantage, you guys are dealing, you're educating the customers. You're taking care of them. You're building it on trust. Really quickly, how can people get information about the credit union?
Absolutely. So with that, Mike, like I was saying, your listeners and our members can go to our website. That is peoplesadvfcu.org. The Advantage Federal Credit Union has been abbreviated, and they can go and they can learn all that they want to learn about People's Advantage. They can learn about our products and our services that we offer, our checking and savings account, our money market accounts, our personal loans, our auto loans, our RV loans. We offer a suite of products that can help every member, whatever their financial needs are at that time.
So car loan today, you
Yes,
help
sir.
with the budgeting.
Yes, sir.
Got to factor in gas in there too. Gas is in there, but it is maintenance costs. All those things, you help a person put a budget together to understand the impact of getting that car and helping them successfully get to the end of that loan.
100%.
That's the real
That's
win.
what we do in a nutshell.
That's the win right there, to make sure People's Advantage. All right, so Mike, how can people find you out there?
If the members or your listeners want to find me, they can reach me on my line there in the office. It is 804-748-3081. I'm at extension 756. They can also email me. My email is mpatterson, Patterson, at peoplesadvantage.org. And they can reach out to me. I would love to take their phone calls, answer any questions that they have. If they're already prepared to do an application, I can assist them with the application process, and also schedule some time to go over that budget with them as well.
Mike is now. This is truly Mike and Mike right here. We're talking loans, talking auto loans in particular today. Talk really quickly on the way out about the impact of having a good credit score. And like you said, when it was shot, how do you start building it back up again to get to the point where you can go comfortably into a dealership and they say, we're going to run your credit, and you don't have a massive seizure at that moment because you don't know what it's going to say?
I'm glad you asked that. And, I'll definitely kind of tell you a little bit more about my story. So what I did over those couple of years while I drove that Toyota Tercel was I had to humble myself. I had to actually reach out to those collection agencies to start working with them, get on a payment schedule to repay that money back so that could start improving my credit score, right? After I did that, then I started with something very small. And my mom, just to talk about her a little bit in those conversations, my mom was great with finances. So she sat me down and she was like, hey, Michael, this is what you need to do going forward. One, not just to improve your credit, but to have, a good financial wellness.
Okay.
And that encompassed everything. That was the apartment that I was renting at the time. That was the maintenance and the insurance that I had for the car. That was, the credit cards that I now had. I had those paid off. I had balances, and it was not to misuse those again. So when I sit down and I talk to our members about their finances, I let them know first thing. I set that expectation right up front. Hey, I'm going to get all up in your business.
You sound like Chris Kane now. I'm going to get in your business.
Get all up in your business.
But
that's
it's
something
that goes,
and this is going to help you. Because if you help me, then I can help you. So I need to know everything that's going on in your financial life. And it's not to be ashamed of it or anything like that. We've all gone through something like this at some point in our life or another. And the thing I always tell all my members is that I am literally here to help you. This is, again, like you just said a minute ago, it's a win-win. So that win-win is you help me, I can help you. If I know what's going on, and then we can put together a solid, concrete plan to get you on that road.
That works.
And that's a double entendre right there.
You got that straight from the top with
we
Jay.
can get you on the road. So I love to take my time with my members, go over their budget, go over their financial situation at that time, put together a forecast of what it would look like 6 months to 12 months down the line what their credit score would be if they take these certain action steps, right? Based on what we see in the credit report and their financial situation. After that, I let them know that, hey, the better the credit score, the better the interest rate, the less that you have to pay back, right? Because who wants to just keep paying out money? So, and I know everybody wants to hold a couple dollars in their pocket. So if we can get your credit score to a certain point, which will get you a better interest rate, that's the less money that you have to pay back. That's money that's actually back into your pocket. And with that money being back into your pocket, what can it do, Mike?
It allow you to do all the other things you want to do.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. So 100%. Mike is here one last time. How can we find information out about you?
Well, your listeners, our members that we love so dearly can visit us at peoplesadvfcu.org.
People's Advantage, folks. All right, this has been Mike King. We got Mike Patterson in the building with us. People's Advantage Federal Credit Union. They are the best out there. Thank them for being sponsors of the program. As I always say, hey, make sure you take care of sponsors and advertisers because we only rock with the best.
Hey, RVA, this is the Tam. You know another guy named Mike.
Two guys named Mike.
Make sure you check out my main man, Mike King Biz. Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Sports 106.1 on the mic. With Mike is the champion of Business Talk Radio. You're starting to irritate me.
All right, on the mic, Mike King, we got to go. Take care now.